All right, and here we have him, Mr. Mark Maclure. How are you, mate?
Very good, thank
Sellers,
you.
pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
All right, so this is a special episode. Know what episode it is?
You tell me.
So you've watched the previous 35 episodes. So this is 36, right? This is 36. So we get the best of the 36. 243 games, 327 goals. You remember every single one of those goals? But you love the goal.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I like to win.
You definitely like to win, mate. You definitely like, this is exactly what we need these days. Premiership players, 79, 81, 82, and the Carlton Hall of Fame. So an absolute champion, right? So you were born in Western Australia,
Correct.
but you played most of your football in Sydney.
My dad was in the Navy.
Yep.
He was a chief petty officer in the Australian Navy, so he went to most of the wars. He was Anzac Day to day, so he's passed away some time ago now. So, but we moved all over the place. We went from Perth. I played in Perth at Manning Park in the under-10s. In that team in the under-10s, which I didn't understand at the time, was Robert Wiley, Peter Spencer, Brian Peake, and me. So that was the four of us who played AFL football out of that team.
Wow.
We won the premiership in the under-10s by about 100 goals. And
Were
Robert
you playing
Wiley,
forward,
I didn't know. I didn't even know who they were. You know? But I know Robert Wiley kicked 80 goals for the season in the under-10s.
Wow.
So he was a star then, as well. So really, so that was all came out when I was sort of 18 and 19. I worked that out. You know what I mean?
You
so
always played footy?
In Perth, if you're a kid, you get to school. Once you wear the football out, you get a tennis ball and you kick it round. And that's what it was. And
cricket?
Played a bit of cricket, but mostly footy. Yeah, played a bit of cricket. But to me, it was like before school, lunch, at the break, before lunch, at lunch. Home, grazed all over the place, pushed around. So to me, it was part of life.
That's it.
And that's how you learn. That's how you learn to protect yourself. That's how you learn how to mark the ball. That's how you learn, because it's blokes flying from everywhere. You know what I mean?
Playing on that.
So,
we used to play on the road.
Correct.
Yeah. We used to play on the road. So you had to learn to protect yourself.
You had to, that's right. Well, we did the same. So at a Catholic school in Perth, and we played on a dead ball court, so that's how we kicked it back and forth. And so to me, that was the start of it. And then we went to Yarra Bay. It was the Navy sort of thing. And then from there up to Sydney.
Yep.
And we played in Sydney. No, I didn't go to Sydney. We went to Sydney, And then we went to Brisbane. We played at Cooperoo. Under 13s. I played in the under 13s at Cooperoo. And I played there for 2 years. And then I went to Sydney when I was 15. And I stayed in Sydney from then on.
Yeah.
Played at East Sydney Footy Club. I had some great people up there. Who were a guy called Jackie Dean, who was a fantastic man and all that sort of stuff.
Were you always one of the better players?
Well,
it could be my
No, well, see, the thing, when I was playing the under-19s at 14.
Yeah.
Because they wanted, because when I was playing, I was a rover. Because I was tiny, I was smaller than most other people. And then about at 16, I played in the reserves at East Sydney, and then one day I played there at East Sydney, and I played the under-19s. They pulled me up at 3/4 time. I played in the reserves on the bench, got a last quarter, and then they put me in the seniors because I ran out of the blood. I was a bit tired and hungry by the end of it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So it was a long day from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. So anyway, but to me, it was all part of growing up, all part of working out what you're going to do in life and how you're going to handle things. And to play with the senior blokes at sort of 15 and 16 is hard work. Yeah. But you know what? Loved it.
Every minute I can imagine.
So how did the whole Carlton recruiting thing come up for you? What was your story getting to the club?
Someone watched the game when I played in the reserves and then played in the seniors after, and went and saw Bert Deacon. I spoke to Bert Deacon, who was a fantastic man, one of the best people I've ever met. He died prior to me playing my first game. But I still played in the reserves and the under-19s prior to that in '73. So in '73 I came to Melbourne the June draft. At a June draft, so I started playing then, and Jean's his wife, and they've got a golf day down at Flinders every Christmas. They have one, and I'd heard about it, we talked about it, and they rang me the other day and said, come down this year. So I went down and played it. It was fantastic, loved it. All the brothers and the cousins and the sons and the wives and all that sort of stuff of the Deacon family. So it was just tremendous to be there, because I loved Bert. He was a Brownlow medalist at Carlton.
Yep, of course.
He was a CEO for a while, and you couldn't find a better person anywhere on the planet. He's ripping gold.
Yeah.
Who do you love catching up with, like from playing days? Or if you do?
No, of course I do.
Yeah.
You look close.
Yeah.
Oh, of course we will. You know, I mean, but that's the point. I mean, the whole thing about the culture was, in 1965, a guy came along like Ron Barassi. Okay, he turns our football club totally around.
Yep.
From 65 to 95, which is a 30-year period.
Yep.
We played in 13 grand finals and 8 victories, and it's all about the culture that he built. And it started in the 65. They went to 66. They played in 68 one. They played in 69. I think.
Yep.
They played 70. They played 72. You know, so it just went on and on and on, and Brass is a star completely. And there's nothing written on a wall. It's all these little things that I actually sat down one day and sort of started to think about it. And then Ron went on to go to North Melbourne, fix that club up. And then he went to Melbourne, couldn't get them going, but then he went to Sydney and started to straighten that club out. So all of a sudden he's had a hand in lots of different footy clubs in the footy world, which is absolutely fantastic.
Was that the biggest move ever in football when Barassi got? I know that was just before you got there, but that
for
was,
our club it was.
Yeah.
I think for anyone.
No, for our club. Don't forget about the others.
Yeah, definitely for our club.
For our club. It was one of the best moves I've ever done.
Yeah.
Because they played in so many grand finals. They've been so powerful through that 60s area, 50s and 60s area. Why wouldn't you go for the best? And Ron was under Norm Smith and those sorts of guys.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sad because they tried to get rid of Norm Smith.
Yes.
And Ron was upset with that. That's why he left.
Yeah.
Otherwise he wouldn't have.
So that's one of the reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Just got to go back through the history books, and they talk about that all the time. So Ron for me is I didn't never coach by him. It's only in the state team one time. I was coached by him. I loved him. He's fantastic. But I picked up a lot of things that he left at our football club, and one of them is continual improvement. I don't care who you are, you can still continue to improve. I don't care what you do. You can improve your health, you can improve your relationships, you can improve something you can always improve on. And that stuck with me because in our era in the 70s, late 70s and 80s, we trained every day and worked every day. So we had to work and train, went to the club and trained after to try and get better and better and better. Yeah. So that for us was most important. Relationship building is the biggest thing. If you build a relationship, you don't want to break it.
No.
Yeah.
So you don't want to let anyone down. So and the only thing, if you haven't got a relationship, guess what you got? You got nothing.
100%.
You can't sell anything, you can't do a thing. So for me, it was about relationship building. It was about selfless.
Yes.
And the biggest thing that I thought was that being able to compete. If you can't compete, go and get another job because it's seriously important. And I look some days today and some people who play who are terribly uncompetitive at times.
100%.
At times. You've got to be 100% competitive.
So why is that? Like we're jumping way ahead now. I watched you in the 70s and 80s. I love that football, and I love the way the way you were so close knit, and it showed on the ground and it showed off the ground. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And these days, I don't think we've got that anymore.
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
See, for me, it wasn't about money.
Yeah.
No, to me, for us in that period, it wasn't about cash. It wasn't about money. It was about representing and a bit of pride in what you do, and how you turn up and put your jumper on and go out there and give your best. And sometimes we fail. You know, who hasn't failed? Yeah, we've all failed at times, but seriously, that was the biggest part. And if you failed, you go. If you failed, you go back and start working on what you did. You didn't do it well.
Did you start league teams? Did you start the Sunday get together?
That wasn't with me. That was started before I got there.
Yeah, but that was a
leading team.
The leading team. That's right, the leading team.
Well, we'll see what on Sunday we played football. We played football Saturday afternoon, right? 5 o'clock on Sunday, 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon. We go to the aftermatch, which I love the aftermatch. Okay. Now the thing about the aftermatch, it breaks down a lot of barriers with umpires, players. When there's this biffo or whatever what's going on, you watch and have a look and see how people dressed, see how they handled themselves, see how they treated you. And I love that. I love watching that, and I go, you find out about people, you know what I mean? Have a couple of beers, because we're thirsty, of course, and all those sorts of things. And then we'd go. There's nothing wrong with a couple of beers. No, there's nothing, we had more than a couple. Anyway, but, and then most nights we'd go to Peter Poynton's pub, which is around the corner here. It used to be around there. And we'd go there for dinner, and we'd all go together with our girls and all that sort of stuff. And then we'd probably sometimes go to the underground, and most weeks. And then we'd finish it when they kicked us out, and off to training on Sunday morning. At training, we'd be there at 8:30. We'd train for run a lap of the park, play soccer, Catholics versus the Protties.
Always the Catholics.
Rangers v Celtics.
That's what it is. That's exactly it. So and we'd play that, and then we'd have people come in, like Johnny Ribera come in sometime and cook fish for us, and we'd have long necks and a few beers and have Johnny cook for us, and they'd have pies, party pies and rolls and bits and pieces for our Sunday mornings. And to me, that was the best time of the day. And that was the time. That's the time. Yeah, you have a couple of beers, and then watch the world of sport. I love the world of sport. The world of sport for me.
Mate, we grew up with
Robbie Davis and Jack Dyer and Lou Richards, and they were humorous and fantastic and brilliant, and they made it fun, which is sometimes missing in our game at the moment. So for mine, I think that they were just special. You know, league teams and all those sorts of things. So I love that part of the day. And then we'd leave about 11:30, 12 o'clock.
And you were honest with each other?
Oh, you got no idea. It was brutal. Absolutely brutal.
But you could see it on the ground, mate.
Brutal. And the biggest powerful thing you've got as a peer is if someone tells you you're not doing it right, you go, oh. And the school teacher tells you, you don't care. Coach tells you, who cares? Well, he does. He doesn't do that. But when peers tell you, it's powerful. Totally powerful. And you go, oh. And you think, I've got to do some more work. I've got to work on it. I've got to do this, and I've got to get back my respect from the people who've lost it. No, but this is about being trusted and respected. If you're not trusted and respected, you won't last long. You don't last 5 minutes. So it's about helping other people and working for other people and shepherding for other people and pushing and shoving and sometimes you don't even touch the ball, but you know what? Your mates know what you did. They all know.
All the selfless things.
So that to me was the most important thing.
I think so. And you could see, as I said, I keep saying it, you could see it those days, and you could see it.
What about the club now? Like, I mean, I look at the, we're only 28, 27, 28, so we've seen no success. We haven't seen premiership. The moment I got a Carlton membership.
I'm nearly there. I'm there. I'm on the way.
It's
when I got a Carlton membership.
It's all over.
Man's world, isn't it?
I think, I look at the team now and I think, well, what's the difference between? I don't understand how a team can be so unsuccessful compared to what set you apart from the rest of the competition, and what do the boys need to do now, in your eyes, to become a better football club? Because it just seems like it's the same, for lack of a better phrase, the same garbage every year.
We didn't wait for the coach to tell us what to do.
You knew what you had to do.
No, we didn't wait for the coach to come and say, this is what you need to do. We'd have blokes on Wednesday night, which is an off night for most of us, and Monday was an off night. We'd have the gym was full. We'd do a 30-minute, 40-minute gym session with George Frigo, who was our physical guy. And then we go down to Norton's, have a couple of beers, and I went home. Okay, 2 beers, and everyone went to work at 7 o'clock in the morning and went to
all that something to do.
We all had a job. And you know what? And the outlet was going to footy.
Yes.
And it was fantastic. Today, I don't think they have that. You know, I mean, they've got to sit on it all day, every day, think about, the only thing they've got is about it getting a kick. I mean, it's just bull. It's BS.
No, and you're absolutely right.
And so then we'd and to me, and we'd talk about footy. We'd be together and we'd talk about what happened here. What happened there? What did you do that for? Why didn't you do that? And you empower the players in this area. You've got How many coaches do you reckon you got up there? 7 or 8?
Now.
Are they empowering the players? I don't think so.
No.
So you don't get that feel, you don't get that strength. You need to empower the players. Because they've got how many coaches? 7?
7. Well, you've got the head
Few
coach,
line
you've got
coaches.
assistants,
Guess what?
you've got development coaches.
You know what they've got to do? They've got to say something.
So many opinions.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's right.
It's an opinion-based business. You know?
How many coaches were, when you played through it, how many?
2.
That's it. So a coach and an assistant?
At one stage, the coach was playing also.
We certainly got sacked.
Well, if we just quickly go back, there was that time in '79 you win your first premiership. What famous victory, yeah? And then at the end of the year,
Yeah.
Jezza.
Well, Alex was. I really liked Alex. I thought he was fantastic. But there was a political thing. He sided with George Harris.
Yep.
And Ian Rice wanted to take over, and it was just, to me, it was balls up, completely. To win a premiership in '78, when Ian Stewart was removed after round 7, we'd won one game by 1 point. Okay.
You only
In
did
the and then
3 games or something.
No, 7,
7 games. Okay.
7, and we'd won one game by 1 point. We beat Melbourne by a point,
Yeah.
and that was at our ground, and they were terrible. Let me tell you, at that stage, Melbourne. And then from that moment on, the next 13 games, 14 games, we lost 1. And was by 3 points or something, So we got into the finals after having 1 win after 7 rounds. And we sort of played one final and then got beaten the next and gone. So, and then we thought, that's 78. And that was absolutely incredible. And Alex was calm. He was literal. He was sort of, in a sense, you would say he was our mate. And here's our mate telling us what we have to do, and this is what you do, and if you don't do that, you're not playing. And making basic, simple messages. Don't have to be too clever. Ran us into the ground, got us so fit, you got no idea, and you don't know how good you can play until you get yourself rock hard fit.
Yep.
And we didn't realise it, and we do now. We did then. So, and then the next year we lost. I think we lost 3 games. No, we lost 3 games by less than overall by 15 points for the whole 3.
This went Percy.
No, that's it. With Alex.
Alex
in
in 79.
79.
Yeah,
When he was
yeah.
79. And then he got the flick at 79, and which was just horrendous for us, I think. And then Perth took over.
He actually did play.
And we had to catch ourselves then. We had to And I tell you, we had no choice.
Well, he's done well because he's had a good year.
Finished on top of the ladder and went out in straight sets. and first gets the flick.
Yeah, Perth gets it.
So then David Parkin comes in, and that was in 1981. Yeah, well, he is a bit different, and we all know that. And, he was an intellectual and all those sorts of things. But I quite liked him. But he stopped our ventures to the Norton's Hotel.
So what did you do?
We had to change pubs.
They didn't know where you were going.
We knew. We went to the Fenwick. We went to the Fenwick Hotel, which is on the other side. And we'd have a couple of beers there. And then we took over in 1980, when Richmond won the premiership, they beat Collingwood.
Yeah.
When Collingwood, they beat Collingwood by 78 points or something.
Yep.
We played them first round with David Parkin. We beat them by 10 goals. Richmond at Waverley, $10. And I don't think David thought that we could do it because we lost every practice match on the way in.
He did.
And every one of them. And that's why he was at the shits.
Do you ever care about practice matches?
Well, we did, but you're not going to kill yourself.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? You're going to kill yourself.
No way.
So we competed and we just hung in there. And then when the game started, the real game started, we went bang. And we won. I think we only lost a few games. We won the premiership that year, 81, and then we backed up in 82. And I mean, to me, it was not just won by one person or by one coach. It was done by everybody, and we had an incredible bond.
Yeah.
It's unbreakable, and it still is today.
Yeah. Exactly.
We got a function that Eddie had in August, I think.
Yeah.
And it'll be just the same as when we walked out the door in 1980 when you
That's what good mates do, man. You don't see each other for a while, and then all of a sudden,
Pick up,
it's
it's
like
easy.
you
I
never.
think focusing on that, like the one thing we noticed when we spoke to Wayne Harms and Peter Marcoux last year,
Alex.
Harmsy was sort of
Peter Marcoux.
Alex Marcoux, Peter Marcoux.
You
And
mongrel
he goes,
sorry.
Alex Marcoux
Yeah.
and Wayne Harms.
Yeah.
Harmsy was sort of like, he goes, oh, like past players in the club, there's sort of been a little bit of a disconnect. Have you felt that a little bit? And because I know Luke Sayers, the word was that he's trying to rekindle the relationship with past players. And how have you sort of dealt with that over the last couple of years?
I don't think that they liked any past players back there.
Why is that? Why?
It's not my thought process, but I told Luke Sayers that. I said I feel uncomfortable when you go there because they don't really want you there.
I don't understand why.
And to me, that's okay. They're in charge. They can do what they want to do. But who do you learn from? People who are
Past and present.
But where do you learn from your parents? You learn from your peers.
Of
You learn from people who are good at something.
You've been there and done it all.
Yeah, but it's not how you do it. It's about how we get you to do it.
Correct.
And that's the point. And,
Yeah.
And to me, empowering players today is difficult because you've got 7 coaches and they've all got to say something or else they lose their job.
Yeah.
And I don't quite get that. And I mean, they're all experts at whatever, I don't know.
Well, we think they're experts.
But anyway, that's okay, doesn't it? Yeah, but there's a difference, in the eras and bits and pieces. There's so much data and technology
This is the
involved.
other thing.
Yeah. If you do this and all the blokes on TV talking about, 25% of the time they do this. So anyway, to me, it's a pretty. Alex was really simple. Alex was so simple with his message, so simple with how he wanted you to play, so simple about you keep the ball in the forward line. This is back in '78, and we had Marcoux, Sheldon, Buxley, Johnson, quick small forwards who.
Stop it because I'm getting excited.
No, seriously. And if the ball came in, good luck getting out of there.
That's right.
And that's what it was about.
Yeah.
And we actually tried to perfect that, and we wanted them to crush, kill, and destroy.
100%.
And to me, and it worked because that's
one
their
thing
job.
I noticed in 79, 80, I think the average score was about 120 for Carlton, 120 points, which would be about the 20 odd goals.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2022, the average goals is like 10. And the
Well,
AFL,
the game's changed though.
well, why has it changed so much?
It's all going back to defence. We all understand that. And that was most of the time there. It was about outscoring your opposition.
What about the rule changes?
Well, the rules. Well, but see, but this game's they're trying to set this up for TV, and
Correct.
and what they've done, they've all done this. And the thing about that is the stand rule is set so you can't move.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't mind paying a penalty for the stand and all that sort of stuff. I like that because you know what, it trickles down to the junior grades too, and we don't want that. So to me, I think what they're doing there is right. But when I look at Brad Scott and the amount of dissent he would have hurled out when he was coaching North Melbourne, it's like a contradiction completely, isn't it?
Well, people that are watching this now have seen Rocco's rant a couple of episodes ago, and I said
Our comment section, I think, is just going to fill up now. Everyone's going to be going.
I agree.
Anyway, so look, to me, the game has changed in lots of ways, and it's 666, and the amount of coaches, and what their go-to is? Straight to defence.
Yeah. They're trying to say
Damage mitigation.
Yeah, no, they're trying to keep the games close so they can keep their job.
It's all about keeping their job.
It's all about keeping your job.
Yeah, it's true. And listen, in 86, you become captain.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, you lose the grand final naturally. And then Wolsey gets you in. And he has a word to it.
I knew I was in trouble, and I was coming to the end. I had lots of injuries and all those sorts of things, but you know what? I had a great time. Yeah, I loved it. Robert was ruthless. Robert,
we heard.
he was ruthless, and seriously, that's the way you got to be.
Yep.
If you come around here thinking you can walk around and not get pointed the finger at, you're in trouble. You're kidding yourself. So, and I was below par at that stage. At the end of the year, I did,
I still think you had a not bad year, despite.
I kicked 44 goals. I don't know.
I mean, we did get sticks and that into the side.
Yeah, sticks came in and all that. Yeah, but you know what? They did. You know what happens? Once you can't compete in this business, you're gone.
You have to go.
So I have to go.
Yeah.
And I'm not upset with it.
No.
I've had a great life, a great time playing footy, and I loved it. And I don't want to embarrass myself anymore.
Yeah.
Because the last 4 or 5 games a year, wasn't great. And I know. Yeah. So you just got to wear it.
No one remembers you for that. They remember you for premiership medals and glory.
And
you
you're
know,
competitive.
being a legend of the club.
And you're really selfless. Is that the word? Selflessness?
Selfless. You were selfless.
Yeah. Well, don't you know how to say that?
Selfless.
If you watch my show, I am the wordsmith of all words.
I can tell.
The wordsmith of all
I can
words.
tell.
Straight from Melbourne.
Yeah,
How
straight
about
from Reservoir.
the boys now, at the moment of the boys now, we're recording this on Anzac Day. We're currently 4-2.
Yeah.
New coaches, Michael Voss comes in. What have you made of the start, and what areas? Because there's still a lot of areas to improve, and there's still a lot of players that are.
Spoke about it
leave a
before.
little bit to be
It's
decided.
all about continuing improvement. And
Yes.
that never goes away. I don't care how old you get. You know, you can still do things and you get better at things and all that. So to me, they've got some work to do. And Vossi knows that. But the best thing I've seen him do is work on the culture side. He got them really fit. He's got them fit. But other sides sort of work you out too sometimes. They watch the games and say, listen, we're going to try this, we're going to push that here, we're going to do that there, and try little things. And they've probably caught us out a few times. So what? 1-4-2. Is this the best position we've been in for 20 years?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things you've got to do is look at that and say, okay, we can build on that. And we played some good sides too, some pretty good teams.
Yeah.
So
We played some good football.
played some good
Yeah.
football. But we've got to do it better than just centre bounce clearance. Of course.
That's exactly right.
So I love the contest. They're good at the contest.
Yeah.
And anyone doesn't not good at the contest, get rid of them. But no, seriously, I love the game.
It's the game now.
We're
We're exactly the same. We share the sentiments.
So, but I think Vossi's really good. I like him.
Yep.
He's looking for a bit of redemption from his Brisbane.
Yes.
And he did nothing wrong with Brisbane.
No.
Lee Matthews knew it was going. He gave it to Vossi. And
He went into sinking
They
ship.
did get a lift.
Yeah.
They got a lift out of him in his first year, but he just
Gone.
wasn't ready for.
No, they didn't let us play.
The team wasn't
That is
good
right.
enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We
Oh,
sent
they were-
didn't we send Fev up there? That was the end of it, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
He had a good.
He had a premature end at that club too.
Yeah.
The big
lucky,
Fev.
and lucky he didn't go to the boat cruise.
All right, let's stop. What else?
Well, about this team, just quietly, we have got a lot of high-profile players for a lot of money, like big money, which I don't care. People heard me say this. I think that a lot of them are overpaid. Is this, if we don't do something in the next few years, is this going to cost Carlton?
What do you think they should be at? Where do you think they should be? Where do you reckon they should be on the ladder?
Carlton,
That's what you're talking about. They're wearing the jumper.
they're wearing the jumper.
You are.
I'm wearing the jumper.
You
Where should we be on the ladder now?
Where should we be?
Well, probably where we are now.
What, have we been there before?
No.
There you go.
No.
So you've seen some improvement.
We have seen improvement.
Don't be too pushy on it because
No, but all I'm saying is I don't get it. Like this could cost us because is there Is there
gonna cost us.
is there is there a resentment right between a player getting $800,000 to $900,000 not playing the way $800,000 or $900,000 and then a player in the reserves who's busting his ass, right? Is there going to be this resentment between players?
No.
Don't reckon?
Well, they should have been.
It should, mate.
it's not his fault that he got paid a lot of money.
That's right.
No.
It's not his fault that maybe that they
It's
overrated him.
someone's fault.
They overrated him.
It's someone's fault.
Is it a management problem?
Yes.
There's your problem. If
Yeah.
you've been in business somewhere and a business starts to go down, it's all about the management.
100%.
So-
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, no, but well, you didn't say it.
The wordsmith.
The reservoir wordsmith.
Look, I went from Reservoir, went past Preston, and I got to Carlton. All right.
But seriously, it's a management problem.
Yeah.
And so, and once you get that sorted, which Brian Cook is probably the best
Brian
recruit we've
Cook's
picked up,
definitely.
and I think he's very, very well versed on what goes on.
Yep.
And if you have a look at the Geelong recruiting, it's been superb.
They're just always
Best,
there.
best in the last
Always
20
there.
years.
That's what we
they're
want.
getting it.
Well,
this will come, but he's only been here 6
No,
months.
I'm not blaming Brian. I'm not blaming Cookie.
The consistency
So, to
should
me,
come.
sometimes a lot of people are very harsh on it, but let me tell you, this is the best space they've been in for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I think we should cherish it, and hopefully they get better at it.
We're harsh because, man,
Of course we
I've been getting heartburn for the last 20 years, man. I've actually, SOMAC, you know what SOMAC are?
Stop whinging, okay?
Nah, I love that. I love it. Yeah, so.
I've got a question about your time on like AFL 360 and doing, all the Fox footy. How do
You gave us a
enjoy
good
that?
rip when we deserved it too.
We love it.
That's why we love it.
All Carlton supporters love it when you're on there and you give it, but you give praise when when credit's due. You give it. But look, how's your time been on there?
I'm finished there.
Yeah.
I finished up last year.
ABC?
Yeah, no, ABC I still do.
Yep.
But I had 13 years there at Fox, and I loved it. And once you get to an age, there's all those young blokes with lots of hair on their head and all that coming in, and they take over, and the terminologies have changed.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, in footy, but that doesn't mean that the basics still don't work.
Correct.
That's right.
It's all about the basics.
It is.
So if you get the basics right, the rest works okay.
Yeah.
To me, I loved it. Had a great time with it. Had a ball. Loved it. Went everywhere.
Got to talk about the game.
Got to talk about footy. And I still do on the ABC, and I love that. And so to me, I can't be any more. I'm just honest though. If you want me to be honest, I'll be honest.
And that's why people gravitate towards you as well, because you're honest and you give.
Sometimes I'm too honest. I've been sued a few times, and I don't like that much.
Have you had a few? Because I think when you were on 360, was it last year or the year before? I think you had a dip at a few players, and you said that they contacted you after you had a dip at them.
No, I didn't.
No one contacted you.
No, someone from the club contacted me.
Okay, right.
That's standard.
The media department, I don't even know who they are. Don't worry about it.
I get those.
No, that's it.
So, any more that you want, boys?
I think we've. I think.
I think you've had
Favorite? Oh no. Favorite player to play with.
Oh, here we go. Favorite player to play with.
Well,
I know there's so many.
I think Chris Dill's been a star of this footy club, but he's not a person who's going to sit here and give you a book full of quotes. Okay, he's just a great team player, one of the greatest I've ever seen. And I'll never forget one day playing on Larry Donahue, who kicked 100 goals in that year, and Bruce Dill played on Larry Donahue. Larry Donahue is 6'5". Bruce Dill was 5'11". Larry didn't touch the ball. Bruce Dill had 25 punches away, 4 handballs, 6 knock-ons, 2 kicks. He was easily best on the ground. Bloke didn't get touched. And I thought to myself, that was just a pure game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't get any kudos for it, of course, because that's not his go, but he was something special. I think I love playing with Wayne. Jono and I, we played a lot of games together.
Forward lineman, you had
And
you,
Bazasto.
Wayne, Buzzer.
Yeah. And look, to me, I love the pig too. Harmsy is a beauty.
It's a pain. It's a dude.
Well, I'll never forget when we played the first game at St Kilda at St Kilda ground at Moorabbin there. And I saw this little bloke come in, a little fat bloke. Who is this bloke? Who is this bloke? And then 10 minutes later, when we're on the ground, he's taking marks over Carlton, jumping, kicking the ball 400 metres. Who is he? This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, but hey, mate, he's the best impact player outside of Gary Ablett. There you go. For impact, he is pound for pound as good as Gary Ablett. Yeah. Unbelievable.
I think so, and a lot of people say, man, pound for pound, he could have been one of the best. Like,
He is.
Yeah.
He not could be. He is.
yeah.
His impact is huge.
Yeah.
Grand final
Huge.
days is a perfect example. He made a
100%,
mistake, chased it, boom.
Well, you know, with
Yeah.
that thing, it doesn't matter that it was in and out. When you went
cares?
back to the room, it doesn't matter. But when you went back to the room, was there a discussion? Was there?
No.
Was there?
Couldn't care less.
You didn't even think about it.
No.
It's a goal, mate.
One
I
of the
think
greatest players you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah, I think.
And if
so.
anyone thinks it's in or out, couldn't give a hoot.
No, I don't. Actually, Harmsy said the kick was that bad he had to make it up. That's why he ran that hard. Yeah,
I think the one thing I
But that's
picked up
the point,
from
isn't
him.
it?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the,
exactly.
That's the
100%.
actual
Yeah.
point.
Exactly.
100%.
The one thing I picked up from him I reckon this is a nice note to leave it on, is that when he did the interview with us, he brought his premiership medals and his Norm Smith medal.
Yeah.
And all he said was, he
Showing
said,
off a bit, wasn't it?
just a little bit, just a tad. He said, he goes, these players now can have all these $1 million contracts with those medals and worth more than any contract I'll ever already run with them. So,
Well, they didn't mean that much because he left them there and he come back half an hour and he goes, "Oh, my medal!"
I think what he said there, I think summed up
Yes.
what you and your team during that era were all. That was the embodiment of what you were all about. It was, because
And
you're part-time players, and the football meant everything.
Well,
You know.
were we? We were paid that
Well,
way.
you're full-time.
Well, exactly.
So to me, I think the balance between going to work during the day and people talking about it, sometimes bagging you about it, sometimes pushing you about it, was good. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
And then you go to training, and I love going to training and work. I love the work, and I love the hard work and sweat and the toil, and then home to bed, off you go again. And if you're not doing that, you know what? And they go there every day.
Yeah, every single. I think they get one day off.
One day after the game.
So to me, I just
Half a day, you're right.
is it a great move to have professional football, or is it the mental health thing is huge?
Yeah.
Because they've got nothing else to release on.
Yeah.
But it's never going to go back. He'll never go
He'll
back.
never go back.
No,
Never.
No. It's warning.
got to
And
find
listen,
ways
those
to deal
days
with
to
it, get through it.
the
Well,
way
we've
you
got Dusty
play.
doing it now. Dusty's doing mental health. There's a couple of blokes around the clubs are off, not playing. I mean, there's another-
Personal reasons.
There'll be a
personal.
few in every club.
Yeah.
There'll be a few. in every
Takes
club.
some toll.
It's
you know.
understandable. It's
Get a
understandable.
crack.
Well, listen, when you played as Fiends, we felt, I can only talk about myself, I really felt part of the club. Like, I really felt like I was part of the club. I enjoyed the success, you know what I mean? To me, the 80s was just a different era, man. It was almost magical, man. Like, we saw enough of yous, but we didn't see too much of yous. Now it's like, you can watch Patrick Quick's 24 hours. He's got a camera in his hand,
exactly.
you know? Like, so it's almost that magical thing's gone. But anyway, today's been magical.
Thank you very much.
Let me
It's
tell
been a
you,
pleasure.
take the good with the bad. It's
100%.
not always good, mate.
No, I know.
Life's not
Trust
about
me.
that.
I've been 52 years on this earth, you know, and I know that sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Actually, most times it's bad, sometimes it's good. So,
It must have a terrible life.
Just gotta push
You got to make it
No,
better.
no, it's all good, man. It's all good. Look, we appreciate it, man. I tell you, this has been an honour, so we appreciate it. I think after you won your 3 premierships, I don't know if you ever imagined to be interviewed by 3 wogs from Reservoir.
I used to live next door to Vinny Cottagio.
Oh,
there you go.
The Vinny.
It was actually magnificent because I'd come down, I used to live on a garage, top of a garage in opposite the footy ground. Vinny was house next door.
Yeah.
And I'd come down after training and have a shower and I could smell the spaghetti. And it was unreal, seriously. His mum was a super cook, and every now and then I'd put a ladder, we'd just take a ladder and over the side of it. It was a bit of fun. It was
Never
good.
went hungry.
I thought spaghetti came out of a can. Anyway, boys, good on you.
Pleasure. No worries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed.
No, we did.
Thank
Go
you.
Blues.
You're our best.